General Grant, it's Christmas, and I'm wishing I was home. Please tell Lincoln when you see him how I'm feeling so alone. General Lee, it's Christmas, and I wanna see my kin. Tell Jeff Davis to surrender, for there's no way he can win. Tell Jeff Davis to surrender, for there's no way he can win. Ulysses S. Grant sat in his chair next to the fireplace with an unsettled feeling. He had attended Christmas services that morning. The choir was exceptionally good. He later attended a Christmas dinner party with his friends and family until late. Now, with his wife staying over at a sick friend's home, he thought he would read a while in his study before turning in. But that unsettled feeling made him fidgety in his chair. The glass of wine next to him seemed dull. His cigar seemed flat. He put down the book and looked around at things in his study. First the fireplace, next his library, then his cigar box, until his eyes fell on a $10 bill his wife had put on his desk. He had forgotten to take it. He hoped this was the reason for his restlessness. Then he also remembered a man sitting next to a fire as his carriage carried him home. The man was probably homeless since he was out alone so late at night, the night following Christmas Day. Ulysses decided to take the $10 bill and his coat and see if he could find the man at the fire. The night was chilly, with a touch of flurries, or was it just the wind kicking up the snow already on the ground? Ulysses didn't take the carriage, but decided to walk the half-mile or so to the place he saw the man at the fire. When he got there, the fire and the man were still pretty much as they had been. The man looked up at Grant and said, "I wondered how long it would take you to realize that you lost your wallet. I spotted it on the road after your carriage passed." Ulysses felt for his wallet and could immediately tell it was gone. His mind and his body had probably been trying to tell him all along, but he wasn't listening. The man by the fire pulled out the wallet and gave it to him, saying, "General, it's a real pleasure. I served under you back in the war, but I never got to meet you. I saw you once, though. You rode into camp, and all the men got up to greet you. But my leg was ailing, so I stayed by the fire and looked from afar. I thought you may have glanced my way as you rode by, but in all the ruckus I couldn't be sure." Ulysses was starting to understand his unsettled feeling even more. He moved the log over to sit next to the man and started to talk with him about anything and everything. The man had some cheap wine with him, but to Ulysses it was ideal for this cold night. His head started to feel the cold from the wind, but the man just handed him an old cap he probably found somewhere. And the man shared a charred pipe filled with cheap tobacco, which matched the smell from the burning fire. The two men spent the time like two old friends with nowhere to go. Then a young child appeared and ran straight for the fire. "David, where did you come from? Did you lose your folks? They're probably still looking for food in rich folks' garbage." The child turned to Ulysses and asked, "Are you St. Nicholas?" Ulysses was amused, but said gruffly, "Do I look like St. Nicholas?" The child replied, "I guess not." Ulysses felt like laughing, but decided not to. The man chimed in, "This son is General Ulysses Simpson Grant. We fought in the war together. That's where I got my ailing leg. Anyway, stay here by the fire and keep warm. Your parents will see the fire and suspect you're here with me." The parents did come after a short while, looking concerned, but also expecting to find the child safe with the man at the fire. The child ran to his parents, and Ulysses could hear him telling them his name, General Yule Santa Grant. Ulysses felt oddly embarrassed by the name. He shook the parents' hands and asked them a few questions. about themselves and the boy, particularly his schooling. Then he invited all of them for dinner at his home later that day. That day, for it was surely well after midnight by now. Grant excused himself, wished all of them a blessed Christmas, and walked a half-mile home alone, thinking about the old friends of his that he needed to call on tomorrow to help him find his new friends, shelter, work, and for the boy a school. Ulysses slept well that night. His upper body sprawled on his bed, his knees touching the floor, and his thumb planted in a page of his Bible. He slept late into the morning. When his wife came home, she couldn't figure out what he was wearing on his head. General Grant, it's Christmas, and I'm wishing I was home. Please tell Lincoln when you see him how I'm feeling so alone. General Lee, it's Christmas, and I wanna see my kin. Tell Jeff Davis to surrender, for there's no way he can win. Tell Jeff Davis to surrender, for there's no way he can win.